Created by James Cameron and Charles H. Eglee, Dark Angel was an American biopunk/cyberpunk sci-fi series released in the year 2000. The show followed a genetically enhanced super soldier named Max Guevara, who was portrayed by Jessica Alba and Geneva Locke at different points in her story arc. While it was supposed to go on for longer, Dark Angel was called off after just 2 seasons, and it's been forgotten over time. Today, we'll explore this cyberpunk series in great detail and tell you everything about what led to the show's unfortunate fate after it kicked off on a high note. Before we get too far ahead of ourselves, though, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. What was Dark Angel? Before we jump into the production details, let's explore Dark Angel's detailed plot and take a look at Max Guevara, a bioengineered soldier created at the Manticore government facility. Located in Gillette, Wyoming, Max was one of the many creations at this lab, and she was identified by a unique number sequence printed on a barcode on the back of her neck. She was an X5 model known as the X5-452, and her unit consisted of several so-called brothers and sisters who shared the same features. Their training was supervised by Colonel Liedecker, who often subjected them to brutal techniques to hone their skills. However, these genetically augmented soldiers had a design flaw, and their brains lacked the tryptophan amino acid, which often led them to experience seizures. While this problem wasn't fixed, many soldiers in the unit were killed off when they started experiencing these symptoms, and Max was quite terrified when she first got the shakes. With some help from her protective unit leader, Zach, or X5-599, they decided to escape in order to avoid death, but Liedecker's men chased them through the forests as soon as they got wind of their plan. Unfortunately, Max was separated from her brothers and sisters during this chase, and she fell into a frozen pond while the search party continued to look for her. As part of her training, she was taught how to hold her breath underwater for extended periods of time, and she managed to evade Liedecker's men and went missing for a long time. In 2009, a terrorist attack resulted in the release of an electromagnetic pulse all over the US, which destroyed the country's electrical systems and effectively turned a world superpower into a third world country in the blink of an eye. While corruption and crime soon became rampant, the government was forced to enforce strict martial control laws, forcing Max to live under the radar through illegal means. Around 2019, she was illegally squatting in an abandoned building in Seattle with friends such as Kendra and Original Cindy. She also worked at a bicycle messenger service called Jam Pony, which allowed her to move around the city and find new places that she could steal from. As she bided her time, Max was determined to collect the funds to look for her 11 missing brothers and sisters from the facility. On one such burglary, she came across Logan Kale and recognized that he was the cyber journalist who goes by Eyes Only. She was instantly intrigued by him, especially after he figured out her true identity using security footage and invited her to his place. He even managed to get a glimpse of the barcode on her neck, and his extensive government conspiracy knowledge led him to confirm that she was an escaped X5. Soon enough, he'd promised to help her find her siblings and even protect her from Liedecker on the condition that she would help him defeat the bad guys. They strike up an alliance, and Max tracks down Zach and a few more siblings at the cost of some tragic consequences, and they finally decide that they need to defeat Manticore once and for all. Moreover, Liedecker also teams up with them after the Manticore attempts to kill him and even gets rid of one of his kids named Tinga. Now that they had Liedecker on their side, they came up with a plan to destroy the genetics lab and prevent Manticore from creating more soldiers. During this raid, Max suffers fatal injuries and was even presumed dead, but it turned out that she had been recaptured by the facility's supervisors. While their plan was almost a success, Manticore continued to thrive and even set up a larger, more advanced facility on the outskirts of Seattle. At the facility, Max ends up meeting Alec McDowell, a self-absorbed transgenic who was supposed to be her breeding partner. She also makes friends with Joshua, the first Manticore invention, who was on a mission to find their mysterious father figure, Sandeman. She eventually manages to find a way out of the facility and reunites with Logan, only to find out that she's carrying a deadly virus that was specifically designed to target Eyes Only. Amidst all this chaos, she works with Logan to expose Manticore, while the facility's director, Elizabeth Renfro, threatens to blow the place up with all her friends inside. However, Max manages to team up with Joshua to help the captives escape, and most of these transgenics, including Alec McDowell, safely make it out alive. While this was a partial victory, their problems were far from over when government agents led by Ames White started tracking down the escaped Manticore soldiers. They were intent on destroying them, and Ames White was especially fixated on this mission due to his affiliation with an ancient breeding cult. White developed an obsession with Max, who had supposedly been created without any junk DNA for a special purpose. Over time, it was revealed that White was Sandeman's son, and that Sandeman had rejected this cult after realizing that his other son, CJ, wouldn't survive the initiation rituals. While a straightforward plot turns into a whirlwind of chaos, the rest of the show mainly focuses on Max's attempts to protect the Manticore alumni from the government as well as the breeding cult. Eventually, they face the Phalanx, who were revealed to be elite soldiers of the cult, but Max's forces managed to defeat them in a ferocious battle. After emerging victorious, Max and her allies decide to join other transgenics in Terminal City, a toxic settlement in Seattle, where they could work on improving their community and demand more rights and protection from human hostilities. Who are the main characters of Dark Angel? Max Guevara, or X5452, is the central protagonist of Dark Angel, and she's also identified by the number 332960073452 on the barcode printed on her neck. After she escaped the Manticore government facility, she managed to form several unlikely alliances, out of which Logan Kale, or Eyes Only, remains her most significant relationship. Portrayed by Michael Weatherly, Logan was a cyber journalist who used his expertise with computers to bring down the corrupt power brokers who had taken over the country. He was the heir to a family fortune and spent most of his resources hacking into television networks to deliver a broadcast called Streaming Freedom Video. He first came across Max while she was trying to rob his apartment, and he struck up an unlikely alliance with her to find the other Manticore escapees in exchange for some help in defeating corruption. Even though they went back and forth several times, they eventually became an undefeatable force and developed romantic feelings for each other. Besides Logan, Max also formed a close friendship with Cynthia McEachin, or Original Cindy, portrayed by Valerie Ray Miller. Cynthia was Max's best friend at Jam Pony, where she often covered for Max and helped her keep the position despite several mishaps. Halfway through the first season, Cynthia discovered that Max was a super soldier who had escaped from Manticore, and she soon agreed to become her roommate. The two first met in the prequel novel, Before the Dawn, when Max helped her out in a bar fight. Max also had a complicated relationship with Colonel Donald Michael Liedecker, who was portrayed by John Savage. He served as the main antagonist in the first season, where he often tried to recapture Max and other escaping X5 soldiers until his boss, Renfro, finally betrayed him. After switching sides, Liedecker teamed up with Max and Logan to destroy Manticore, but he soon disappeared into thin air around the start of Season 2. In the prequel novels, Before the Dawn, it was revealed that the breeding cult captured Liedecker, and Max almost left him to die when he promised to help her find her mother in exchange for helping him escape. When Max was recaptured, she was teamed up with Alec McDowell, who was portrayed by Jensen Ackles. While Max was supposed to be his breeding partner, she completely disregarded this order as she struggled to deal with the fact that Alec closely resembled one of her original siblings, Ben. After Manticore was destroyed, Alec escaped and tried to make money illegally before finally becoming a cat burglar. He struggled to survive in the outside world at first, but soon enough he became one of Max's closest allies. Max also became good friends with Joshua, an early Manticore soldier who was a result of canine DNA mixed with human DNA. He possessed incredible strength, and he was also different from other Manticore creations in the sense that he had no barcode. He was portrayed by Kevin Durand, and his character often wandered around the Manticore basements taking care of the other transgenics. Joshua also formed a close relationship with Max, and he often imitated her speech since he wasn't quite familiar with human language. The canine DNA had altered his facial features to the point where he often hid his beastly appearance from the public. He was briefly involved with Annie Fisher until Agent White murdered her and framed Joshua for it, an incident that left a deep impact on his psyche. Over time, he joined Max and her allies in their final battle against the cult members, and he was also a main character in the last two Dark Angel novels. Besides them, the show also had some recurring characters such as Bling, Asha Barlow, Ames White, and Kendra Maibaum. Why was Dark Angel special? After the success of Titanic, James Cameron collaborated with Charles H. Eglee to open Cameron/Eglee Productions, and Dark Angel was the special project that kickstarted this new venture. As they brainstormed ideas for a family drama or sci-fi TV series, they finally settled on Dark Angel, a biopunk/cyberpunk series. Cameron stated that their initial idea was to introduce Max as a genetic construct who appeared seemingly human but had no human traits on a cellular or genetic level. They were inspired by manga such as Battle Angel Alita for the show's concept, and Dark Angel was quite a unique project that, sadly, remained the first and only show produced by Cameron/Eglee Productions. Max's character was a typical strong female character, just like most other leads in Cameron's works, and he hoped that this show would appeal to women. He stated that young male audiences enjoyed watching women in action, and Max's character was a win-win situation. They also sought inspiration from the Y2K trends, and the show was initially titled Experimental Girl or Maximum Girl before settling on Dark Angel. The show marked Cameron's television debut, and the first season premiered in the United States in October of the year 2000. How was Dark Angel received? After the first season released, Dark Angel soon became a fan favorite and even won the Favorite Television New Dramatic Series Award at the 27th People's Choice Awards. Editor Stephen Mark won an award for Best Edition Motion Picture for Commercial Television for the pilot episode at the Eddie Awards, and Jessica Alba even won a bunch of awards for her leading role at the TV Guide Awards, Alma Awards, and the Teen Choice Awards. She was also nominated for Best Actress in a Television Series Drama at the 58th Golden Globe Awards, while the show was nominated for a Golden Globe for editing. While the show received several accolades, it had trouble with the time slots for television. Upon its premiere, Fox agreed to broadcast the show during the 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. time slot, but it was often preempted due to award shows or presidential election coverage. These preemptions became a running joke among the creators, but things took a turn for the worse when the show's scheduled airtime directly pitted them against the WB's series, Angel. Critics started debating which one of these similarly named shows would dominate the time slot, a key reason that led to the show's eventual decline. What went wrong? With the release of the second season, the show introduced new storylines and cast members, which slightly deviated from the main plot and the focus on Max's attempts to defeat the Manticore. Moreover, the frequent preemptions and critic debates surrounding Dark Angel and the WB's Angel further contributed to the show's eventual decline. While several critics believed that Dark Angel would emerge victorious in the battle of time slot supremacy over Angel, the latter had a stronger fan base. Even though Dark Angel's initial ratings surpassed those of Angel's, the latter prevailed in the long run despite Dark Angel's initially high ratings. An executive vice president for WB also commented on how Angel was the better show, and things only worsened when fans got confused between the two. Over time, WB relied on marketing techniques such as publishing a full-page ad in TV Guide stating that there is only one and that David Boreanaz is Angel, which was quite an impactful move. In no time, Angel won time slot superiority, while Fox had no choice but to move Dark Angel's airtime to 8 p.m. on Friday nights. Also known as the death slot, these new timings didn't work out in the show's favor, and the Nielsen ratings dropped from 59 for Season 1 to 114 for Season 2. While the first season was praised for its script and entertainment value among young sci-fi fans, the second season was criticized for having weaker storylines such as dream episodes, the virus that prevented Max and Logan from being together, and the half-animal Manticore experiments that were soon revealed to be a part of the government facility's main programs. Why was Dark Angel cancelled? While critics did not enjoy the second season's storyline, the overall decline was also reflected in audience viewership. The first season's pilot had an audience of about 17.4 million viewers and an average of 10.4 million viewers for the rest of the season, while the second season's viewership dropped to an average of 6 million viewers. Subsequently, the creators and Fox decided it would be best to cancel the show, even though they already had many ideas for the third season. What was left unresolved? The third unproduced season was supposed to merge the storylines of both seasons to reveal the Dark Angel mythology that covered incidents that took place thousands of years ago. Charles H. Eglee explained these plans in great detail, and this season was supposed to cover Earth's passing through a comet's tail that deposits viral material and wipes out about 97% of the human population. It was then revealed that the breeding cult managed to preserve the survivors' genetic immunity to ensure their cult members survived in case the comet ever returned. One of the cult members, named Sandeman, then betrayed the cult by giving this genetic immunity to Max in the hopes that she would be the human race's savior. Soon enough, they generated ideas for spreading her immunity to the world's population through methods such as an air burst that disperses antibodies in the atmosphere or attaching the immunity to a common cold virus. These storylines were soon explored in the Dark Angel novels that expanded upon the television series, and one of these novels even served as a prequel to the show. Written by Max Allan Collins, Dark Angel Before the Dawn was a prequel that focused on Max's life after she escaped from Manticore in 2009. The novel followed Max as she moved to Seattle and met original Cindy and Kendra before finally getting a job at Jam Pony. As the novel progresses, she studies the footage of a mystery man and realizes he was one of her siblings before finally tracking him down and reuniting with him. The second novel, Dark Angel Skin Game, was set in the immediate aftermath of Dark Angel's second season, and it followed a killer who was terrorizing the streets of Seattle. While the government tries to track him down, Max discovers that the killer was none other than a shape-shifting transgenic called Kelpie. Moreover, Ames White had drugged Kelpie to the point that he was suffering from psychosis, and Max then worked with eyes only to reveal this information to the world. Unfortunately, Kelpie soon dies after shapeshifting into Logan and coming into contact with Max's virus, which was explicitly designed to kill Logan. The third book, Dark Angel After the Dark, reveals that Max was free from the virus after it had claimed Kelpie's life, and she finally gets the chance to get close to Logan. Unfortunately, their relationship is strained when Max discovers that Logan was partially responsible for Seth's death, and things become even more chaotic after Ames White kidnaps Logan. The breeding cult once again seems to be preparing for a comet that would destroy the Earth, and they even try to kill Max as they deduce that her genetic code can save the rest of the world. Thankfully, Max allies with transgenics to rescue Logan, destroy the cult's headquarters, and even kill Ames White. In a striking finale, the comet doesn't harm the human population, and the world realizes that the cult had made some false predictions, while Max seeks out Lydekker. While he was trapped in a prison cell at the cult's headquarters, Max promised to rescue him on the condition that he would help her find her mother. Another companion book, Dark Angel, The Eyes Only Dossier, was written by D.A. Stern, further expanding this universe beyond the television series. Marvelous verdict! And with that, we've explored all the key incidents within the Dark Angel universe, as well as all the chaos that was going on behind the scenes. It's quite a shame that this show had to be cancelled after just a few seasons, especially when they had a bunch of ideas for the third season as well. Nevertheless, the Dark Angel universe did expand to several novels, and there's no doubt that it was quite a treat for young sci-fi fans when it first came out. We hope you enjoyed exploring it with us, and we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. As always, if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Otherwise, thanks for watching, stay safe out there, and have a marvelous day.